Well, it's been a few years since I haven't posted a My Gloves fanfic. So, hi, welcome back to My Gloves fanfic. Today, I am going to revisit from the last 10 years ago because celebrating my 10th anniversary channel. But the one video that I have posted, or I reading a fanfic called Swim Me. It's a Copper Knots. So it's a ship between Benny, the astronaut, and Bad Cop. But for this particular, it's a Bad Cop of the Lego movie. Yes, it's been a few years since I watched the Lego movie. Not just the first one, but the second, but the sequel of it. So I am going to read again with this fic of Dance With Me. But instead of just me reading this one, I'm gonna have to feeling creative on what I'm gonna say. Because I read this one before and I have said some swear things back in 15 because I can allowed to say some of that little. But again, this fic is not safe for work, so it is latest month, so and also a little fluff based according to what I read. So I'm gonna have to read this one more time, but I'm gonna give you the extension of what this is about. So I have this one on my computer, so I'm gonna share this with you right now. As you may know about this, as everybody knows about what I'm reading, this is where I had set up my fic for you. Oh, anyways, hold on a second because let me figure out how to show this little meeting right now. Let me try to set up a little bit, so let me do this work right here. Hold on a moment. Right here now, we're here. So, this is where I am reading Dance With Me one more time. So I'm gonna read this fic right here and reading out some of this stuff, but I'm gonna be very creative on what I'm reading. So, for those of you who don't know what this is a side little story to this one big old fiction called Space Between Us. But I'm gonna tell you this right now that this story, Space Between Us, will now going to be on the Michael's fanfic because that I really wanted to read this, but I had never done in the entire 10 years that I have this one. Not such it. This is just a side of it of Space Between Us. So a little give you a little small description is that Benny's home from space after 6 months. So what else is there to do? And so much smutzing. So the first section of the fic has been published before to answer as about Berksburg's favorite gay club by the Space Center called the Cockpit. Get a little joke right there. Again, it features Benny and BC called Bad Cop, set in a space between verse. We'll get to reading the entire thing of Space Between Us right here on my Cloud's fanfic. So everything here is so if you don't like this fic right here, maybe you should read Space Between Us, but I will post the first chapters. I'll post some few chapters here and there. Again, I haven't read this one. Well, I read this one when I was 15 years old. Now I'm 26. I'm gonna have to read this. Just following along, all the good stuff and here and there. So I guess I'm ready. I don't think we have any further interruptions for now. So let's get on with it. All right, here we go. Dance with Me by Cleversnail and a collaboration with Cleversnail. The offer this. All right, here we go. Dance with Me. Beast watched Benny all night. Watch his eyes light like rocket fire when their arrival brought the entire cockpit to their feet. Watch him spin onto the dance floor in a cloud of glitter. Watch him dance with every bright, beautiful boy who presented himself, all the while throwing flirtatious glances back towards B at the bar. Watch him smiling, laughing, singing. The sweet taste of Benny's mojito flavored kisses lingers on B's lips as he sips his whiskey sour. He's never been more in love. 6 months in space have been brutal for all three of them B, Benny, and their boy Neil. 2 nights before, following Benny's triumphant return, they all climbed exhausted into B's and Benny's big bed and slept from dusk till dawn, tangled out like a mound of puppies. Benny was home. They finally felt complete. A family. Again. But tonight, Neil is at Grammy's. He'll be there until the morning. Tonight belongs to Bee and Benny, and they won't waste a single moment. Benny's outfit is nothing short of astounding. He's in a blue tank top with the space agency's logo, in sequins, splashed across the front. The shirt's too small, and Bee's positive Benny bought it in the latest department. Still, Bee can't imagine anyone, male or female, wearing it better. The outfit just gets better below the waist. Benny squeezed his rump into light blue booty shorts that barely managed to cover his ample equipment. One off balance spin, and there's the very real danger of a ball drop. No matter, he's positively exquisite, and B secretly hoping for that ball drop. Then there's the socks. They're white and high thigh, with two navy sport stripes at the top, and they show up every curving muscle of Benny's freckled and softly furred legs. B's been dreaming of rolling those wicked stockings slowly down with his teeth ever since Benny slid them on. Blue Chuck Taylors complete the look, of course. Benny's covered head to toe in glitter, and there's the faintest hint of eyeliner edging those huge cerulean blue eyes. He smells like he's been dunked headfirst into a vat of his ubiquitous drugstore aftershave, but to be, he's perfect. Unequivocally perfect. While Benny dances, B drinks. It's what they always done at the pit. And in truth, B enjoys his time at the cockpit bar. Then the barman is reliably pleasant and unwaveringly professional, even in his uniform of butler's chaps and pilot's cap. B slept blissfully unbothered when he's at the bar, but a steady stream of anonymous free drinks keep him well lubricated. He wonders how many are from Benny. He knows Benny will never tell. By the time Nicki Minaj and Ariana Grande blast through the speakers, the booze has made B positively merry. He watches the great interest, chin on hand, as Benny gyrates his way through the song, shameless and panting. Ben is covered in sweat, his red hair dark and damp, his creamy covered, his creamy freckled skin shines in the lights, and before B can register what's happening, Benny has slid right off the dance floor and into this lamp. He is only half aware of the club's spotlight on the two of them as Benny draws him into a deep kiss. The cheers around them are deafening, and when they finally part and B can focus his vision again, he's only got one thing on his mind. He flips Benny the car keys and stands. "You're coming home with me, boy," he growls. I feel like this is a familiar feeling that every time when you go in this bar in this club, you'll probably see those two people. And there it is. Benny, they are so long into whatever the song is going to be. And now, after all that little fun at the gay club and have their drinks already filling their stomachs and filling their body, it's time to put them into the next level. Coming home with B. This is interesting. And you'll find out at the second section. Oh, you're not gonna be ready for this, but get ready because this next part is gonna be NSW. So you are gonna feel it, but I'm gonna be very creative on some words around. All right, let's continue on with the second part. All right, one moment. It's June, the first hot night of the summer. The stars are right above. The stars are right of light above them as they drive home with the Charger's moonroof open. Benny's lead-footed as per usual, but B barely notices. The sooner they get home, the sooner he can have that astronaut out of those shorts. The deep sadness of the months apart is melting away. B feels only hope now, or crushing loneliness once settled. Benny's home. Everything will be alright. They pull into the driveway, park the Charger in a pool of moonlight. The moon reflects in sharp silvered The moon reflects in sharp silvered arcs along the slope of the Black Hood. It's long past midnight, and the neighborhood is dark. The night hums with crickets, Benny and Bee stumble up the path to the gravel dooryard, liquor and passion tripping them up. Benny and Bee stumble up the path to the gravel dooryard, liquor and passion tripping them up in equal measure. At the door, Benny fumbles madly with the house keys while Bee kisses his way up Benny's neck, dips the tip of his tongue into a sweat salted whirl of Benny's ear. Benny's panting, biting back moans already. Bee begins to push his hardening sling flush against the perfect curve of Benny's booty. Benny finally tosses down the keys in surrender, lets himself be pulled away, lets himself be pulled away from the door, and is pressed gently against the side of the house. Their mouth upon mouth immediately, greedy, wanting, desperate from so long apart. Their teeth meet with soft clicks as they relearn the geography of kisses. Benny twines his arms crossing Bee's strong shoulders, pushes his fingertips up the back of Bee's neck and into his hair. I want you, he whispers into the warm hollow of Bee's open mouth, teases his tongue to a smooth space left by a missing tooth. It's June, and the first hot night of the summer. The dragon. It's June, and the first hot night of the summer. The stars are a riot of light above them as they drive home with the Charger's moonroof open. Benny lead-footed as per usual, but Bee barely notices. The sooner they get home, the sooner he can have that astronaut out of those shorts. The deep sadness of the months apart is melting away. Bee feels only hope now where crushing loneliness once settled. Benny's home. Everything will be all right. They pull into the driveway, park the Charger in a pool of moonlight. The moon reflects in sharp silver arcs along the slope of the Black Hood. It's long past midnight, and the neighborhood is dark. The night hums with crickets. Benny and Bee stumbled up the path to the gravel dooryard, liquor and passion chipping them up in equal measure. At the door, Benny fumbles madly with the house keys while Bee kisses his way up Benny's neck, dips the tip of his tongue into a sweat-salted whirl Benny's ear. Benny's panting, biting back moans already. When Bee begins to push his hardening sling flush against the perfect curve of Benny's booty. Benny finally tosses down the keys in surrender, lets Subby pull away from the door, and his back pressed gently against the side of the house. Their mouth upon mouth immediately, greedy, desperate, from so long apart. Their teeth meet with soft clicks as they relearn the geography of kisses. Benny twines his arms across Bee's strong shoulders, pushes his fingertips up the back of Bee's neck and into his hair. I want you, he whispers into a warm hollow of Bee's open mouth, seizes his tongue to a smooth space left by a missing tooth. Bee pulls away then, takes him by the hand. He leads Benny into the middle of their backyard, stands in the circle of blue moonlight. He kisses Ben's fingertips slowly, one by one. Wait here, he says, and jogs back to the house. He returns with an armful of long chair cushions, tosses them into the grass, and lays Benny's back upon them gently. Benny looks up. Stars sparkle amongst the leaves of the trees. Moonlight pools white blue across his belly, makes a tiny moon crater of his red furrowed navel, and Bee stands above him, rapt, drinking him in with his eyes. Christ, how Benny missed those eyes. He sits halfway up, pulls off his tank top. The night air is bathwater warm across his chest. When he settles back into the cushions, he swears he can feel the moonlight on his skin. Bee follows him down. The push of Bee against him, the weight of his body, nearly brings Benny to tears. He has been in free fall high above the world for half a year, and now at last he's grounded, pressed softly to the good warm earth beneath the man he loves. And if there's heaven, It can't be much sweeter than this. He spreads his legs wide, curls around Bee's thighs. Bee dips down to devour Benny's neck. When he raises his head again, glitter has settled in galaxies across his lips and cheek. Benny's heart swells with affection. He brushes tiny, starry flecks of Bee's lip with the pad of his thumb. I want to feel you more, Bee, he says. I want to feel you move inside me. Flicker of shock crosses Bee's face. This is not how they've always done things. Benny bites his lip, waits, runs one hand through Bee's silvering hair. He's asking me to step outside his comfort zone, asking for spontaneity where there hasn't always been order. This is unstable, unbroken ground. Benny watches the inner struggle play out in Bee's features. Bee swallows so hard, trying for him, and finally, Bee swallows, says his jaw. He nods once, almost imperceptibly, and kisses Benny slow and soft on the cheek. Yes, he says, and Benny pulls him close. Benny slides Bee's t-shirt up the ripples of his ribs and over the broad muscles of his shoulders. Lets his thumbs trail to the thickets of curling silver chest hair and over the sensitive pink peaks of Bee's nipples. Bee's impatient, tugs the shirt off over his head with one hand and flings it away to the begonias. Benny quirks his lip, takes in the view. Bee's nearly 50 years old now, but he's still a remarkable sight. He's got a bit of a belly rising above his belt, and his muscles don't stand out in as sharp relief as they once did. But Lord Almighty, what a fine specimen of man. Gosh dang. Benny's swelling shilling begins to strain uncomfortably against his tight shorts. Benny sinks back down to the sweat darkened strawberry blonde curls slick into the spirals against Benny's. He sets to work with lips, tongue, and teeth. He licks crooked lines along Benny's ribs, nibbles the fleshy tips of perfect shell pink nipples until Benny's ripping beneath him. Benny's waited so long to feel Beast's mouth on him. Spent so many sleepless nights cocooned in his wall-tattered sleeping bag. Imagining B was there, crushing his shilling hard into his own palm for release. And so when B began to slide his lips slowly down the furred midline of Benny's torso, headed straight for the waistband of Benny's shorts, Benny suddenly does give a flying frick about the neighbors. He lets out a toe-curling moan towards the stars. He missed the heck out of his man. B carefully tucks the waistband down over Benny's sling with his teeth. He used both his huge scarred hands to eat the fabric over the smooth rise of Benny's butt. Benny swings his legs helpfully into the air. He holds his breath and watches as B slides the tight shorts all the way down, freckled thighs and calves. B lets the shorts hang saucily around B's ankles for a moment while he pulls off his blue sneakers. Then he coaxes the shorts over Benny's feet, scrunches them into a ball, and chucks them unceremoniously over his shoulder. B sits back on his heels and surveys his hands on his hips. He looks so utterly pleased with himself. Benny can't help but smile. So Benny spreads his stockinged legs slowly apart and watches B's jaw drop. There's a lube in the glove box, says Benny, all nonchalance, crossing his arms behind his head. B takes off at a sprint for a driveway. He goes back to Benny in less than a minute, fumbling with his belt as he goes. He chucks the bottle of lube onto the cushions and begins to unbutton his pants frantically. Just take them off, he grins from the ground. B freezes, raises just his eyes. Take them off, he echoes, incredulous. He swings his head around towards the neighbor's house on the left. The neighbor's house on the right. He hesitates, hands poised at his crotch. Looks at Ben. Take them off, Chief. Benny nods. He trails his hands tantalizingly down his own thighs. Lets his fingertips brush just at the edge of the soft red curls between his legs. I want a perfect view of that big, beautiful schling of yours as you slide it right up beside me. B goes visibly weak in the knees. It's a moment before he can speak. Oh, frick, Benny. Absolutely. And he's out of his pants in 10 seconds flat. Benny retrieves the bottle of lube from the cushion beside him, shakes some into his hand. B watches intently from where he stands at Ben's feet, naked and bathed in moonlight. Good. Benny wants him to watch, wants him to know how much he needs him, wants him to see how much he craves him. Benny draws up his knees to his chest, lets his legs fall open, bites his lip. He curls his fingers round his own swollen sling and begins pumping. Slow. He locks eyes with B and strokes harder. B is gorgeous, silvered and moonlit, gnarled with muscles. There's glitter across the shoulders from Benny's embrace. His belly quivers as he watches Benny working away on himself. It's all too much, Benny gasps. And then B is on his knees between Benny's legs, stealing his hand gently. He kisses Benny's slickered palm, presses his lips to the smooth, worn tip of Benny's sling, and flicks away the moisture beating there with a quick tongue. Benny gasps again. But B's voice is low and soothing. Ben, wait for me, darling. Wait for me. B coats a finger with lube, and with his teeth nibbling, a soft trail of sensation down inside the Benny's left thigh towards his knee, presses slowly into Benny. Benny grits his teeth, tries to concentrate on relaxing, but it's been a long while. The stretch, the pressure, is intense, and it's just one finger. There's a sudden jag of nerves in his belly as he imagines himself a beast fictionally pushing into him. B is big. He's very big. Ben, you doing all right? B stopped all motion and is looking at him, concern plant on his face. Benny realizes he's been holding his breath. He exhales, chuckles softly. I'm okay. Forgot how large those fingers of yours are. Benny runs his free hand up and down Benny's thigh, soothing him. Too fast? He asks. Benny shakes his head, and then he's struck by how ridiculous he must look in their explicit tableau, impaled on B's middle digit with his stockinged legs to the sky. The affection washes over him again and gives B his biggest, best smile. I'm okay, B. Benny reaches for the lube and hands to the B. Please don't stop. B sticks his finger again and waits for Benny. Rubs his fingertip gently, just within a tight circle of muscles there, relaxing them, opening them. Benny pulls his knees up toward his chest, reaches between his legs, takes hold of B's hand, and presses his fingers slowly inside. The sensation is breathtaking. Benny works to relax, imagines himself opening for B. B is leaning over him now, eyes on his eyes, searching. Benny knows B will stop the moment he sees any pain there. B is so patient with him, it makes Benny whole. B is so patient with him, it makes Benny bold. He draws B's fingers out and nods. Two, he says with a wink. That's more of a stretch, but he's ready. So very ready. In they slide. And when B bends his head and draws Benny's sling deep into his mouth, still pushing those slit fingers in and out. Benny swings his legs saucily over B's shoulders and surrenders to the gorgeous feel of it. He lets B bring him nearly to the brink with lips and tongue, but holds him up there. B halts obligingly, gives Benny sling one more good suck, all the way from root to tip, and lets the fall shining and swollen from his lips with a soft pop. He smiles crookedly at Benny. Yes, I want your sling in me. Now, B smile whines at that. He slides his fingers out and kisses the soft inside of Benny's thigh, presses his cheek into the side of Benny's knee. It'd be my absolute pleasure, Ben. He slicks himself quickly. He uses so much lube he practically gleams in the moonlight. He's a bit of an exhibitionist tonight, Benny notes. Must be the booze, the summer air, starlight. It's delightful, to be honest. A side of B he's rarely seen. Benny settles back to enjoy the show. B coaxes his ample sling with long, slow strokes, eyes on Ben the entire time. His hands are slick and shiny as they pump. Lube drips lazily from the tip of B's schlong to the red curls of Benny's belly. It's also wicked. Desire pinwheels through Benny's guts. He wants to be filled, wants to feel B deep within him. He's arched for him for months. He can't wait another minute. Come here, he says, and B does. There is a moment of careful positioning, of gentle opening, and then B presses slowly up into him, smooth and slick, flesh into heat. B leans hard into his palms, Benny's legs hooked over his shoulders. Every glitter dusted muscle strains as he eases deep into Benny, groaning helplessly into the quiet night. He's sunk up to the hilt in Benny before he can speak again. Tight, he gasps. By Jesus. You're welcome. Benny mugs. B lets out a breathless laugh, leans down to kiss Benny squarely on the mouth. The taste of cinnamon and Tabasco and liquor floods Benny's tongue. The taste of his bee. They smile softly at each other for a moment, nip lips playfully. Then B starts to move. Small thrusts at first, just tiny bucks of the hips, watching Benny carefully with that one gray eagle's eye. Sparks of sensation flood into Benny's groin and up his spine. Benny moans, arches his neck against the cushions. B is huge within him. It feels magnificent. B is beautiful from this angle. All his weight on his arms, shoulders flex. There's a swath of glitter across his chest, caught up in his silver chest hair and sparkling like a galaxy. The blue moonlight smooths his skin, hides his myriad scars. Benny slides his hands down B's biceps and looks up into his face. Sweat beads on B's upper lip as he works away. He's panting hard in time, with his thrust, lips parted. His blind eye, opaque as milk, resembles a perfect tiny moonset in the shadow of his face. Benny cranes his neck and kisses B's chin. B smiles. More, whispers Benny. Please. There's no hesitation. B lengthens his thrusts immediately. With every stroke, he is driving in deeper and deeper. Benny's legs bouncing softly on his shoulders. Benny flings back his head. He can't hold back the moans any longer. Every thrust sends incandescent pleasure coursing through his groin, rattling up his backbone. Benny snakes a hand between his thighs, curls his fingers tight around his sling, and starts to pump in double time. Sensation begins to roil below his belly, begins to coalesce behind his sling. He pumps harder, eyes screwed shut, mouth open. He's panting, groaning, and gasping beneath B. It feels like a star on the verge of supernova. B's clinging to Benny's thighs now, desperate for leverage. There's a low growl starting deep in his throat. Arousal ricochets through Benny's belly. He knows that growl. Oh God, he knows that growl. B's thrusting to him like a piston over and over. Impossibly fast, fingers dug into the creamy flesh of Benny's strong, stagnant thighs. Benny's wrist is beginning to ache, but gosh darn it, he's so dang close. He's kneeling like an animal in rut, gasping for breath. His sling is slick and hot and hard in his hand, and Benny feels him completely with every firm thrust. Then there's that shift, that wild gimble deep in his gut, and it's going over. The wave is long, wide, intense. It's an undertow dragging him to the bottom of the chasm of pleasure. His bed is full of fireworks. He feels hot trails of his own sea glaze his sternum, settle into his chest hair, and dribble over his nipples. And then B groans above, murmurs his name, and spills deep within him for several long seconds. And then stillness. There's a moment when neither of them are able to do more than pant and tremble. But then, carefully, B slides free. Benny winces. The ache is already setting in. B gently closes Benny's spread legs and gathers him up to his arms. I'm a mess, Benny's cautious, but B presses their chests together just the same. Benny lets his head rest against B's clavicle, concentrates on the feeling of B's gnarled fingers running softly through his hair. He listens to B's Gray's big heart hammering away in his chest, listens to his precious lungs draw breath. B holds him close, doesn't speak, doesn't need to. He's saying everything Benny needs to hear, loud and clear. High above them, stars shine fiercely, bright through the oak trees. Green summer leaves swirl and spin in the warm night air, whispering the good news. Benny's home. Whew, all right. Wow. That was it. That was the dance with me. It took a little while there, but hey, thing is, I reread this one again. But oh my goodness, it was very wild when I read this again. It's something that 6 months is real long, and it's the end of it. And Bad Cop really wants Benny so bad to create this wonderful night for them. Well, I got nothing to say about it, but hey, I enjoyed this one again, and hopefully you enjoy this one too. Just like this one that I watched, and I'm not gonna read. Oh, you can watch this old one, but you can watch this new one right now. I'm doing, and I'm gonna post this one not on my main channel, but on the new channel that I have called My Love's Fanfic. You're probably going to see it. All right, well that does it. That does everything for me for this video. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna might read another fic, but don't forget, coming soon. I might go into read Space Between Us. So stay tuned. All right, goodbye, everyone.